Hello, my dearest grade learners. Welcome to our grade community. How are you today? I hope everyone is doing just fine. Again, I am grade teacher Kate and welcome to our grade community. For you to be updated, do not forget to follow us on our online platforms. We are present both on Facebook and on YouTube at the Grade Teachers Academy. So for today's lesson, we will discuss how self-control matters to our family and in our community. So we will discuss how can we be better as an individual and people in the community. So before we start, let me discuss with you first the lesson objectives for today. So at the end of the module, you are expected to Number 1, identify the different ways on how to help the family and community. So at your age, ano na ba yung pwede mong gawin to help your family, your parents, your brothers and sisters, and even individuals or people in the community. Number 2, demonstrate self-control as a responsible member of the family and the community in the current situation. So we will tackle more about self-control or self-discipline, what it is all about and why it is important factor as an individual or as a student. Number 3, assess the different changes as an adolescent in terms of abilities and potential. So as we grow older, nakikita naman natin na meron tayong changes physically, not only physically, but also emotionally. So we will tackle or we will discuss more about the abilities and potential as an adolescent. Number 4, determine the areas or situation where the similarities and differences could be of great help. So when we say similarities and differences, we have to be mindful na hindi lang the negative, but it has also great impact. So again, we will discuss the similarities and differences as we go through the discussion later on. And lastly, appreciate the role of the familial duties in building relationships with family members. So as we go through our discussion later, marirealize mo or ma-appreciate mo na ito na pala yung role ko when it comes to my family and when it comes to the community. So there you go. Alright, so before we proceed to our discussion for today's lesson, let me have this quick and simple activity that we will answer. So here's the activity. So let me read the instructions first before we proceed. So the instruction is to recall situations from your younger years where you started helping your family and community. Then you just have to list down the help that has been rendered since that age. So you just have to copy this table on a sheet of paper and then just write your answers there. So I have here example. So the age here that I have indicated is 5 to 8 years old. So at this age, from 5 to 8 years old, the activity or the help that I've been rendering is or are, number 1, watering the plants, washing the dishes, running errands, throwing garbage properly. Then when it comes to community, I work on community projects and then volunteering in tree planting activities. So this is what you will do. You just have to indicate your age when you started helping in the family and community. And then on the column 2, we have to indicate or list down this help that you've been rendering in the family and community. So again, I will be giving time to answer this activity, but you may pause this video so you have much time to answer this framework. Alright? So timer starts now. Okay, that's it. I hope you have already answered this table. So we still have another activity to answer or to process. So I have here some questions to process or to reflect on. So you just have to answer again this question on a sheet of paper. So number one question, what do you notice on the things that you have done and currently doing in your family and community? Can you cite the similarities and differences? So may pinagkaiba ba yung health or yung activity na nire-render mo when it comes to your family and to the community? Then you just have to cite the differences and the similarities. And then number two, what makes such similarities and differences? Again, we have time to practice this question, and then we pause this video so you have much time to answer this. Timer starts now. All right. Now that we have already test your prior knowledge about our discussion, let's proceed to our lesson proper. Okay. Okay, so let me okay. So again, our discussion is all about how self-control or self-discipline matters to our family and community. So let's learn this together. Okay. So steps to self-discipline. So self-discipline is defined as an ability to take control of yourself. So when we say self-discipline, you are on top of everything, particularly your behavior, your emotions, and your impulses. Because when you are not on top of this, madali kang magiging irrational on your behavior. Say for example, wala kang discipline when it comes to your gadgets, when it comes to eating. So ang negative effect nun probably is pwede kang number one, overweight because non-stop yung eating mo wala kang discipline when it comes to eating Number two, pwedeng mapabayaan yung pag-aaral mo dahil sobra ka naman sa gadget. So that's how, that are the negative impact or negative effects when you are not on top of yourself or when you do not practice self-discipline or self-control. So it says here that it takes time to develop self-discipline and it requires certain levels of awareness to fully understand how it works. This is correct. Because hindi lang siya nangyayari or nagpa-process in one day. Nangyayari siya over time. Matagal ang pagkakaroon ng self-discipline or self-control. Kasi you have to be aware of something. Merong required level of awareness. Kailangan mo maintindihan na kapag napasobra ka sa isang bagay, maaaring merong itong negatibong epekto sa sarili mo. Hindi lang sa sarili mo, pati na rin sa mga taong nakapaligid sa'yo. Posible na ito yung parents mo, yung relatives mo, or yung mga tao sa community. One important thing that you must learn is how to control your emotions. Again, when you have self-discipline or self-control, you are top of everything, particularly your emotions, behavior, and impulses. Again, it is important to control your emotions in dealing with different situations in your family and community because self-discipline could mean being on top of your emotions, and the best way to do it is to learn them first. So, again, learning your emotions is yung first step to have to practice or to develop self-discipline. So most of the time, emotions direct people's action or behavior, meaning meron siyang anchor. Say for example, when you're happy, meron tong anchor na behavior. Say for example, when you're happy, of course, you tend to smile. You can do simple acts of celebration, or you can even talk to your family or friends about it. And then when you're sad naman, ang behavior mo naman doon is you tend to isolate yourself from people. Nilalagay sarili mo sa ibang tao kasi malungkot ka. So, that's why it goes hand in hand with behavior. So, emotion goes hand in hand with behavior. So, I have here this sentence that humans react based on how we feel. Is this correct? Yes, this is correct. Humans always react based on how they feel. So managing emotion is a good skill which forms part of self-discipline. Again, as I mentioned earlier, once you are on top of your emotions or once you have control with your emotions, then it can develop or manage good self-discipline or self-control. So here are some pointers to manage your emotions well. Number one, recognize your emotions. Be mindful on how you feel on a certain situation. So, for instance, what do you feel about going to school? Maybe some of you can relate. What do you feel about going to school? What do you feel about doing the dishes or cleaning your room? So you have to recognize those emotions. Because, again, it is important for you to differentiate your thoughts from emotions. Here, we say that thoughts are usually ideas, while emotions are feelings. Okay? Once you have already recognized your emotions, you have to name these emotions. So, ano ba ang tawag sa emotions? So when you're familiar with Inside Out, there are different emotions that are being discussed there in that movie. And then those emotions are named as happy, sad, angry, upset. So, diba? That's how we also name our emotions as well. So say for example, what do you feel about going to school? Is your emotion sad? Or do you feel happy about it? Do you feel excited about it? Or do you feel anxious about it? So that's how you name your emotions. Next one is to describe the intensity of your emotion. So it is important to know how your emotion looks like or sound like. So people say that we are not supposed to make decisions at the height of our emotions. Why? Say for example, galit ka or sobrang naiinis ka sa friend mo. Sa sobrang galit ka o sobrang inis mo dun sa kaibigan mo or dun sa best friend mo, you said something na nakaka-hurt na hindi mo naman sinasadya. Right? So that's how and nasabi mo yon only because wala kang control, wala kang discipline, or you are not on top of your emotions. Another thing, when you are happy, sa sobrang saya mo, ang dami mong pinangakuan, ang dami mong binake na promises na, for example, ang happy ko today kasi perfect score ako. I will treat you something outside. I will treat you, for example, McDonald's, Jollibee. So there. Tinreat mo siya ng food. So, ayun, you are able to make promises because of your emotions, pero hindi mo naman pala gagawin. So again, it is important to know your emotions, how your emotions looks like or sound like. Number 4, try to understand what your emotion is telling you as it gives you clues or messages. Appreciate how and why you felt it and if it needs certain action. For instance, if you feel angry, do you need to act on it or can you just feel and let it go after? So when we say trying to understand your emotion, may mga emotions kasi na kailangan talagang nag-act on it para mawala or para mag-let go. Parang you have to confront something or someone para yung emotions mo mag-heal. And then, meron namang mga tao na they just want to accept it and get over it. Na hindi na nila papansin na they are already feeling that emotion. So again, you have to understand what your emotion is kasi your emotion will give you messages or clues kung ano ba dapat yung gawin. Alright. Another pointer to remember is to take time to be with your emotions and try to not to make it cloud your ideas. Again, remember your thoughts and feelings are two different things though they are interconnected. So, kailangan mong i-set aside kung ano ba yung iniisip mo sa nararamdaman mo. Kasi kapag naghalo-halo yan, hindi mo na alam kung yung ginagawa mo ba ay emotion mo na ba yun, feelings mo na ba yun, or these are still thoughts. Okay? Alright. So now that we have learned something, let's have this post-assessment. Again, you can just get a piece of paper with you or a ball and a pencil or a ball. Okay, let me read the instructions first before we proceed. So choose a family or household member and try to compare your responses on the following situation. So you can write your answers again on a clean piece of paper following the template below. So I have here 3 different columns. The first column, we have different situations reflected on your screen, and then you is your response, and then the other person is the other person's response. You just have to list it down here. So for example, number 1, the situation is to the number of COVID-19 cases is increasing in your barangay. So you just have to indicate here your response or your emotions or your feeling about the situation. So you can write here that I am anxious, I am scared that I can get COVID-19 virus because the cases is increasing in our barangay. So something like that. So again, I will be giving much time to answer this activity. But again, you can pause this video so that you have much time to answer it. Alright, timer starts now. Alright. Okay, we have this another part. So let me read the instruction first. So based on your answers in the previous part of the module or on the previous slide, try to analyze how you responded in the different situations. Can you say that you're in control of your emotions? Would your responses be the same if you were only 12 years old? And then write your answers on a piece of paper in essay form. So you will write your answer in essay form at least 3 to 4 paragraphs. Again, you may pause this video so you have much time to answer this post-assessment question. Timer starts now. Alright, I hope everyone is already done with done answering the post-assessment question. Okay, so let's have this time to reflect. So why is it important to practice self-discipline in the school, family, and community? So what do you think, why is it important? Why do you think it is important to practice self-discipline and self-control? So for me, coming from your great teacher Kate, it is important because your emotions, your behaviors, and your impulses will affect the people around you. Kasi kahit positive man yan or negative, it will affect the people around you in the community, in your family, and in school. Say for example, galit ka, and sobrang galit mo, nagwala ka, or in-isolate mo yung sarili mo sa ibang tao. Remember that it will affect your family. So, anong mararamdaman nila? Ano yung magiging reaction nila with that behavior, with that emotion, or with that impulses? Maaari silang maapektuhan nito only because you are not on top of your emotions or on top of your behavior. That's why it is important to have self-discipline or self-control. Kasi once you are not on top of this, then you have to be accountable. Kasi kailangan mong maging accountable kapag may mga impulses ka or itong mga behavior na to nag-result to negative impact or negative influence. Alright? So, there you go. Now we are done with our lesson. Thank you for listening, my great learners. I hope to see you again in my next video classes. Once again, I am Great Teacher Kate. If you love what we have discussed, please leave a comment and I will be happy to read it. Promise that I will be more inspired sharing our lessons in our great community. Again, for more updates, follow us on our online platforms at the Great Teachers Academy. Make sure to stay tuned. Remember, here in the Great Teachers Academy, we make complex lessons easy to understand. Goodbye and see you